Welcome to Family Gamer TV. I'm at the Indiecade with Alex Jaffe, a programmer on the Raod Not Taken, if I get the name right. So he tells us a little bit about the game and then we'll get some hands-on play and have a go at it.
Sure. So Raod Not Taken is a roguelike puzzle game based on the poem Raod Not Taken by Robert Frost. So it's kind of a weird combination. Basically, it's got some of the survival and procedural generation elements of a roguelike like Don't Starve or Spelunky, but the core of the game is a puzzle game. It's very simple, turn-based puzzle game. You move around a grid, move objects around, and the combination actually works really nicely, it turns out.
Right, so what are we seeing on the game now?
So this is, you play a magical forest ranger, essentially, who comes to this town every winter to help save these kids that have been lost in the forest. And so here we see the tutorial of the game. You're introduced to one of the mothers of these children who's caught out in the forest picking berries. And she asks you to go out and help save the kid. So this teaches you kind of both the basic narrative of the game and also the core mechanics. The core puzzle mechanics are very simple. Basically, you press space to pick an object up, and you press space again to throw it. So pretty basic, but the trick is that if you want to move an object, you'd lose energy every time you move while you walk with it.
Yeah.
So carrying objects hurts. So your goal in the game is to sort of progress through these worlds, moving objects around to get out of your way, to open doors, to save kids, while moving as efficiently as possible. So for example, if I try to carry this tree over here, I will take damage as I go, and if I throw it, it won't go in the right direction. Objects always move in the direction I carry them. So what I have to do is think carefully about the directions I pick objects up from and move as efficiently as possible to put them next to each other. As you can see, that door over there opened when two trees were put together, and it closes when you move them. So that's the basic sort of lock and key mechanic of the game. In this next room here, you'll see, again, I have to combine two trees. It's just trying to teach you this basic mechanic. And I can do it efficiently by throwing this one this direction, throwing this one this direction. It's really easy for me, but when you put a new player in here, they'll struggle with it for 30 or so moves before they figure out that's the right way to do it.
Nice.
And then here's one of these kids that I meant to take home to her parent, return her to the parent, and that kind of teaches you the basic loop of the game. It'll bring you now to this town. This is the town you visit every winter. It's full of NPCs who themselves are procedurally generated. So
when you say you visit it every winter, that's in the narrative of the game?
That's right. So the narrative of the game takes place in 15 subsequently more difficult years. The idea is this ranger comes by every winter. He builds relationships with these NPCs. He saves the kids each time, but every time the forest is full of kind of more dangerous threats and it's more densely populated.
Do the characters mature over that 15 years?
Yes, absolutely. They start as kind of the simplistic caricatures a little bit, and then you sort of explore the depth of their personalities. The narrative twists depending on how who you spend time with, who you give gifts to. Characters can fall in love with you. You can get married, move into your house.
Wow.
They can get jealous of each other or get sick and even die.
And is that aspect of it procedural as well?
Yes. So there's a ton of dialogue written into the game, but which dialogue spawns depends on the relationships that you're building with them, how the characters respond to you, what you give them, and random things can happen. Like you can get a bad match with a character, and even if you fall in love and get married, your relationship will never be truly satisfied with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do they look different each year?
So each year they're the same character, but this is a roguelike, which means it's very hard and it's got permadeath. So if you get to year 7 and you die without activating a resurrection shrine, you'll actually start the game over from the beginning.
Okay.
And you'll have new NPCs there who all look different than they did before. They'll kind of be similar in personality to the previous ones, but with new quirks and go in different directions.
But the characters don't sort of look older each year?
No, the characters don't look older each year,
Your relationships with them are still mature?
That's right, and you actually eventually may even reveal your identity to them from beneath the hood. So this is a really...
Do we know who we are?
We don't know who we are to begin with. We're kind of a mysterious ranger.
That's interesting. We don't know who we are.
I'm going to jump ahead through the cheat menu to a very difficult year so I can show you what the world looks like when it's really densely populated with really hard objects.
Yeah, great. Let's see it.
Okay. So yeah, you have 15 years left in your career, and the NPCs are constantly reminding you.
So you can have children, and
you can't have children, and that's actually one of the major themes of the game. Is that you're this outsider who tries to build these relationships with these people who all have very traditional, sort of basic family values, but you can't have kids in the game.
But it said naught children when you came in on that menu.
What's that? Oh, that's talking about how many children have been saved.
Oh, I see.
Because each year you go try to save kids. You can't have kids of your own, but you're
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you adopt kids?
You cannot adopt kids in the game, but maybe in the future. So here's some examples of some of the sort of crazy objects we have in the game. This bush over here, you pick it up like those trees you saw earlier, but when you pick it up, it hurts you, even to pick up at all.
Okay.
And hurts you double to move. These pieces here, you can see, you want them to match sometimes the door in a certain form. So you see every time you move, they flip states. And if you combine this one with them, this one will start switching states too. And you have to get them into the correct state to open doors. This room has bores in it that will, charge you every time you move. So you have to be careful which direction you move. See, they charge me as I move by them.
So as this is happening, you're losing energy. So if it gets to 0, that's game over?
That's right, that's game over. Now, you can do various things to increase your energy. For example, saving kids is one. So I'll go over to this kid here, throw them over there, throw them near the bore, trying to move efficiently here, and then finally toss him into there. So I tossed him to the homeroom, my health went up, my energy went up, and now he's, here happily waiting for me. Once I save at least half the kids in a year, then I can go back to the mayor and move on to the next year. Players try to save as many kids as they can, but it's actually extremely hard to save all of them. That's kind of the end game goal. If you do manage to beat the game at all, which is very, very difficult, you're then probably going to try to play some more and save as many kids as possible. Which is, it's going to be different every time when you play.
And so it's a single-player game?
That's right. It's a single-player game. It's the kind of game, we really want players to kind of gain mastery and slowly over time.
So for me, the Vita is a perfect one. I can play it when I'm on the loo.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the game's going to be on Vita, and I think it's great for that, that kind of form factor. Yeah, you can see that the grid looks great. The game runs beautifully. This object here magnetizes other objects and causes them to transport towards you. So you can see it's right. The world is very dynamic and alive, and it has also a very rich crafting system. You combine objects together to make hundreds of other objects, and you have to discover these crafting recipes out in the wild.
Wow, there's so much to it.
It's very rich, yes, absolutely.
Cool. And so when's the game out? And just remind us of the platforms again?
The game will be out this summer for PlayStation Vita, PlayStation 4, and Steam, both Mac and PC.
And has it got a price yet?
The price is not yet set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for showing us.
Yeah, thanks so much.
It looks great. I was fascinated before I saw it, and I'm absolutely hooked now. I want to play it now, so thanks a lot.
That's great. I hope you do. Thanks very much.